I'm going to transform my house, but this is going to work.
And you can get an 80% reduction in your carbon footprint, and they already know how to do it.
This is hemp, polystyrene, recycled plastic bottles, and this is wood fibre.
It's not just about renewable energy, it's about energy efficiency.
It could work quite well in terms of finding a solution that could work for actually the whole street.
Retrofitting, put simply, is like putting a tea cosy around a house.
When someone's going, oh, you want to do what? You can show them what you've done and then go, oh, that's not too bad, is it?
Carbon Corp, put simply, is about bringing people together, streets, communities, neighbourhoods, in a bulk purchasing cooperative, and that's all about purchasing low carbon technologies, everything from smart energy monitors up to solar panels at discount.
The Carbon Corp is a way of people coming together to kind of make the changes that they want to make. So with the kind of workshops we've done, we've found loads of people who really want to reduce the carbon that their homes use. And they know kind of how to do that, really. It's kind of about the nuts and bolts of actually doing that, about coming together to kind of hold each other's hands a little bit, really, so that we can be with people who've already gone through this process and kind of can walk us through, so that it gives a kind of level of confidence that, well, I'm going to transform my house, but this is going to work.
I know that housing stock contributes a lot to our carbon footprint, and that it's probably the most difficult thing to fix. So it's really exciting that these guys have already gone out and worked out really complicated questions like how you insulate people's floors and ceilings and walls and windows, and you can get an 80% reduction in your carbon footprint, and they already know how to do it. So I think that's brilliant.
Hi, I'm Charlie Baker. I'm one of the founders of the Carbon Co-op. This is my house. We spent 1,600 quid just on gas bills in the first year, and we still weren't warm. So we now spend about £600 a year on wood. Put insulation on that wall as much as we could get on it. We put as much insulation in the roof as we could get into it, as much insulation on the inside of the front and back walls we could get in. Made the windows as toasty warm as we could. That's all backed up by this heating system that's got a roof full of solar tubes on the top and a big fat wood burner in the basement and a whole lot of hot water storage in between. And so all these cages are rolled down there and it goes in there. That is a gasifying log burner from the Czech Republic. Goes off like a blowtorch, burns an entire 3 rubble bags, builder's bags full of wood in about 80 minutes. Dumps all the heat into the big tank that's out there and one above it on the first floor. That tank is just for storing heat. Cold water comes in, is pre-warmed at the top of that one with any heat that's left in that, because it has a friend, a smaller friend, up on the first floor that is the kind of business end where all the solar heat goes. So this is the business end of a heating system when you have a batch burner. When you're in hot water, it's pulled out of here, the solar comes into the bottom of it. It has siphons in it so that it doesn't churn. It remains what they call a stratified heat store, so there's always heat in there. You can see on here just how much insulation there is in there. It'll keep the heat for a couple of weeks.
The key reason that makes us different from other people is that the Carbon Corp is community owned, it's mutual, it's owned and run by its members, and that means that we don't answer to any shareholders, and any money we generate, that goes back into the cooperative. And that really means that there's a different level of trust there. When people and householders buy into the Carbon Corp, when they join, they know this is all about them and how they can work together in their streets and communities to reduce those bills, to reduce those carbon emissions.
We're just doing a lot of improvements in the house. The first things we did was just adding the insulation levels, and then we just want to see what happens next, what we can do. And then obviously at the same time we are also quite wary of cost and money involved, so the idea of the Carbon Co-op coming together with other individuals and working together and also sharing the knowledge, it sounds really appealing.
So there's your insulation pick and mix. There's the good old-fashioned stuff that people find. Now this is now available without any formaldehyde glue in it, and it looks this colour now. You've got your Great Cumbrian sheep. It's great in spaces that you're sealing in. Recycled glass made into a kind of pumice, polystyrene. Recycled plastic bottles. Space Therm is the only space-age insulant I've used, really. Multifoil vapor permeable sarking felt. So you put that under your slate instead of just the ordinary felt, so that it quilts out in between, so you get a bit of extra insulation, but it allows moisture to percolate through it, so you don't have to ventilate it at the back. And this is wood fibre, steamed and then recombined into a hard outer layer, a bit like old school pinboards that you put the render on top of, and then a squidgy bit at the back which will deal with the undulations of Victorian brickwork. And it's that thick on the gable wall of the house, that thick on the back kitchen wall. And so that is a lime plaster finish on top of this vapor control layered special plaster on top of the wood fibre, just stuck straight to the wall. We reckon we've got about 2 degrees extra warmth on the house just off doing that.
Our street is quite a short street, and it's about 15 houses in total, and they're all exactly the same. So it could work quite well in terms of, you know, finding a solution that could work for actually the whole street.
If one house on the street does something, that's great. But if 10 houses do it, then they're all usually quite similar houses. The price that they can do that make those improvements, it comes down, it falls.
In my everyday work, I see that people just perceive it as a very kind of taxing and like a chore thing that, you know, you have to give something up, you know, in order to reduce your carbon and footprint, but actually it can actually be done in quite a lot of creative way and fun ways.
I went as an architect. I trained as an architect, but I sidestepped and started working as an urban designer, so very much interested in the built environment and seeing exactly how much energy lies behind the drawings that we do from day to day is quite overwhelming. So I think as our roles, we do have a responsibility there. So I think it's both as a resident but also as a professional.
One of the advantages of people coming to the Carbon Co-op as a street is that you get a self-supporting community there. So if someone in the street, for instance, has fitted an energy monitor, and other people in the street, they say, well, I want to get one of them, I want to see what my energy emissions are. That person can say, well, I bought it from here, I was quite happy with it, or I would have chosen this model if I'd had a second chance. They can also show those people how they fit the energy monitor, and even if you're getting a little bit competitive, they can start to compare their energy emissions and say, well, I did this and it brought it down by that, or, you know, I'm using the shower far too much these days and it's at this level. So it's all about what people call peer support. It's people helping each other. It's a lot more effective and efficient than having a top-down leafleting campaign and a very broad governmental approach.
It's not just about renewable energy, it's about energy efficiency. And the Carbon Co-op is a way of really encouraging and supporting communities to work together to make a difference. And they really can. You know, it all seems very big, global warming, and it's too big. But actually, if you get your house right, and all of us can do that, we can really make a difference.
So the last 2 or 3 years, we've done a lot of outreach and a lot of groundwork. And now that we're ready to launch the thing and we're getting out there and talking to people, we've had a great response. They're all united by the fact that they want to do something. They want to take control of their own energy emissions, their own household bills. That's what really unites people.
So what we've done with this one, want to keep the stained glass, so double glazed unit, fitted into it, and then wood to match, stuck round the hole. So this is now insulated. Now that we've reduced the heat needed into the house because it's actually got some insulation on it, this is a radiator, but it has computer fans in it, powered on a 12-volt supply, so that we actually get the heat from those actually pulling its way across the house. When we don't like the big boiler downstairs because we've got hot water from the sun, but the house is a bit chilly, this will actually warm up most of the house. It's a 4 kilowatt output, and when you stoke that up to full belt, you can not half get some heat out of it. This is a breathable construction with the sheep's wool in it. Because we've run out of space here, this has got the expensive aerogel in it. And the great thing about these windows is, there's the street noise outside, and there it's gone.
How it will actually work is that I'll see the Carbon Co-op, I might see it on a website, a neighbour might tell me about it, or I might pick up a leaflet or a Carbon Co-op manual even, and I'll join the Carbon Co-op. That might be for quite a nominal amount of money, it might be £1, it might be £10, but it's all about member benefit. When I join the co-op, I get a benefit from that, and that will be predominantly access to cheaper deals. So it might be about cheaper energy monitors, insulation, a home energy survey so I can understand better how I'm using energy.
My reason for being involved in the Carbon Co-op, the reason why we spent all this time trying to set the thing up, is because we've got 25 million homes to refit in such a way that there is 80% less energy being used in them by 2050. We think that if you can get communities together to work with each other, if people can support each other so that when somebody's tried something out, they can show someone else how to do it. When someone's going, oh, you want to do what? You can show them what you've done and then go, oh, that's not too bad, is it?
What we're going to start with is quite an interesting and innovative service, which is around solar panel installations. We're launching something called the Carbon Saving Society, and that's something anyone can invest in, from £100 to £20,000, and it's a way of democratising and opening up to everyone the benefits of the feed-in tariff, the money you get from selling energy from your solar panels. So the money goes to solar panels. We get, through the feed-in tariffs, we get a yearly income there. So if you put 10 grand worth of solar panels on your roof, you might get £1,000 every year. So, but the Carbon Saving Society pays for them, they go on the roof, the money comes back again, and then we use some of that income then to pay back investors. So the investor members here. And as Charlie says, 3.75%. But we'll divert other monies through the Carbon Corp to homeowners here, or not necessarily just homeowners, but houses here. And this is the retrofit work. Although we'll raise money cheaply here, we'll have to match that with money from banks as well. As Charlie was saying, it might be £20,000–30,000 to do a house, to do a proper retrofit. So what we're doing there, as he says, we're putting a tea cosy around these houses. So they get £30,000, it's a loan arrangement, so that money is paid back over 10, 15, 20 years. Money goes back to the Carbon Saving Society, and also obviously some back to the bank as well. So people can invest in the Carbon Saving Society, we'll take their money and we'll install solar panels all over the city. The energy that we produce from there, the benefit will be shared there. So anyone who invests, they'll get something there, and also anyone who hosts the panels, they can either invest some money themselves and get a bit of benefit, or they can just get the free electricity. It's open to anyone. After we've done that, we'll use some of that money that we generate to pump prime a series of retrofit installations around Greater Manchester. Retrofitting, put simply, is like putting a tea cosy around a house really. It's making it really warm, really cosy. It's something we want to roll out all over Greater Manchester, but we're going to be starting small. We'll be doing 4, 5, up to 10 retrofits in the first year, and then we'll be scaling it up from there.